Habs breakfast time here on the program. We're joined in studio by Amanda Stein, who has taken some time out of her search for office clips to spend a little time talking Canadians. And on the phone, we're pleased to be joined now. He is the sports editor of the St. John's Telegram, also an analyst on St. John's IceCaps broadcasts. It is Robin Short. Hey, Robin, how you doing?
Good morning, Matthew. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for making some time today. We appreciate it.
No trouble. Sorry about last week. I guess we had a technology faux pas.
It happens. No problem. What's the weather out there today?
It's very nice. Very nice. We've had a great fall. The colors are lovely, and so far so good. But you know what it's like fall. You know what's just around the corner. Winter. But hey, it's hockey weather too. So it's not all bad, is it?
That's true. Now, not so great for the IceCaps though. 1-3 start for the season, and this is a year that's kind of interesting, I would think, for the fans, right, Robin? Because this is the final year, and we don't know what's going to happen if another team comes there next year. How are they responding to this team this year?
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the last year. Of course, the Canadians moved their team to Laval next season, and as of today, there's no replacement. And to be quite truthful with you, Matthew, I don't expect there to be a replacement with regards to an AHL team. I mean, the flavor of the month now is the NHL clubs to have their minor league affiliate, fairly close in terms of geography. What's going to replace the IceCaps? I don't know. If I was a betting man, I'd suggest Major Junior Hockey. But with regards to this season, I guess there is some backlash. I don't know if that's too strong a word, but let's just say that the tickets are not exactly flying off the shelf in terms of season tickets with the IceCaps. They're definitely down. Compared to last season and during the Winnipeg Jets tenure, I mean, it was pretty much a sellout or very close to during the Jets tenure. And last year, the ticket sales were very strong, but they're not this year. And I don't know if that's a case of the fans saying the heck with it, they're gone. That would be unfortunate because I mean, this year's team, as it stands right now. It's a good-looking team, of course. Who knows what's going to happen? That can change, as you know, on a dime, especially when we saw that last year with the rash of injuries in Montreal and call-ups. But you know what? At the end of the day, nothing sells tickets like winning hockey games. So, if the IceCaps come back and they're winning and they're playing good hockey, then I expect those tickets to be selling.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. With an 0-3 start, they had now 1-3 start. Certainly, that doesn't get fans into their seats. But when it comes to the product on the ice, what I'm concerned about, or what I'm looking at, is the goalie situation. When you have a start like this and you get your first win with Lindgren, he has to make 50 saves in order for them to get a win. Is that a bit concerning to you in terms of their situation with the goalies?
Well, you know what, Amanda? Going into the game last night against Providence, the IceCaps managed only 6 goals in their previous 3 games. Now, look, it's the start of the season. I mean, the world is not coming to an end, but nonetheless, I suppose it was a bit concerning, especially when you consider the talent that the IceCaps have up front. And certainly players that Montreal fans are know. Andrew Ghetto, Charles Hudon, Matteau. Matteau just picked up his first point last night, as did Andrew Ghetto, his first goal. But again, it is still very, very early. But hey, how about the play of Lindgren last night? 50 saves.
Yeah.
So I guess the Canadians are going to be shopping Carey Price now. I mean, hey,
You can get a king's ransom for him. That's a great idea. That'll start trending soon. Chatting with Robin Short.
The big question now. With Lindgren returning from Montreal and playing last night, the big question now with the IceCaps is their goaltending situation. They currently have 3 goaltenders.
Yeah,
and they're playing tonight in Springfield, in Hartford on Sunday to clue up the road trip. There's currently 3 goaltenders with the team. I don't suspect there will be 3 goaltenders returning to St. John's. One of those guys will be going to Brampton of the ECHL. And the question is who. I have my suspicions it'll be Zach Ficali.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to go with Lindgren and Jan Denny, but that's just my opinion.
We're chatting with Robin Short from the St. John's Telegram, also does duty on the IceCaps broadcasts as well. Of note, there's certainly a lot of players that Habs fans are interested in. I want to ask you about Udon. He's got 3 points in 4 games so far for the IceCaps. Many Habs fans want to see him get a shot with the club. The club's doing pretty well right now, so I don't think the Charles Udon chants are very loud at the moment. That said, what have you liked from him so far?
He's Hudon is a very, very steady Eddie. You know what you're getting from him. And I think that's what coaches like. He's not one of these guys that will pop 3 goals in 3 games and then go dry for another 4. He's pretty consistent right through. That said, this is a big year for Hudon. It's his 3rd year pro, and he got his cup of coffee in Montreal last year. But then again, who didn't?
Right.
That is very true.
Yeah, I mean, my God, I for a minute I was hoping I might get a call up there, but didn't happen. But Hudon, this is a big year, 3rd year, and I think he knows this more than anyone. He showed up at camp. He was in tremendous condition. He's ready to play, and he's ready to prove to the organization that he deserves. That look in the NHL, and not just a cup of coffee, but an honest to goodness crack at a lineup position.
I mean, here we'll go through some of the different players that certainly are of interest to the Montreal Canadiens fans. And Nikita Scherbak is definitely one of those. 48 games last season, certainly injury-plagued. This year, so far, so good, being able to play in all 4 games. What have you liked from him? And is there, are the expectations maybe set a little too high, especially when it comes to fans' expectations of Scherbak?
Yes, Amanda, absolutely. And I know that there's been some discussion in the Montreal media with regards to Scherbak. Is he ready? You need to look at Scherbak. You need to watch him play instead of just looking at the numbers. You watch him play. He's not ready. He's not ready, and he needs a full season in the minors. And do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even a half season next year as well. I'm not saying he can't play. He's very, very talented, very gifted. But there are times out there when you look and you kind of wonder, does he know how to play this game? So he's very, very raw. He's still only 21 years old. His potential is clearly off the charts. He does things out there that you kind of go, whoa. But then on his next shift, he does things that you kind of scratch your head and say, did he just do that? Some brain dead play. So he needs to play. He needs seasoning, but there's no doubt about it that the potential just oozes out of that guy.
How about we're chatting with Robin Short of the St. John's Telegram here on TSN 690. We talk a little IceCaps here. Chris Terry's an interesting signing. He's had a cup of coffee in the NHL. Well, more than that. In fact, 1 year he had 57 games with the Hurricanes. And he's a guy who's scored well in the AHL in the past and elsewhere. He's got 3 goals in 4 games. But what stands out to me, and you got to tell me if this is a team thing or a Chris Terry thing, -6 already on the season for Chris Terry, although he does lead the team in goals.
Yeah, exactly, Terry. You're right. I mean, it was just a couple of years ago. He had 11 goals, 11 NHL goals for Carolina, and I think the IceCaps envisioned him as a replacement for Bud Holloway. Holloway, of course, was the veteran of the team last year. He was all of 27 years old, but he was a wily veteran, and I think that's what the IceCaps envision of Terry is being that older voice in the room, with a little bit of NHL experience, and certainly a safeguard for the Canadians too, in the event that they need somebody, in a pinch. The plus minus, you know how it is. Sometimes you can read too much into it, but nonetheless, -6 in 3 games is not very good. So, excuse me. While the IceCaps are looking to Terry to provide some offense this year, You know how the game's played this year or these days. You got to be able to take care of things in your own end. And I think they're kind of looking at him saying, Chris, it's great that you're scoring goals, but you got to keep things on an even keel in your own end, especially where you're a veteran guy. But again, it's still very, very early. But he appears to be a pretty good signing for St. John's.
We have a text coming in at 11690 if you want to text us during the program here on Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross for Robin Short out in St. John's, Newfoundland. Can you ask your guest if a coaching change is required for the IceCaps?
Well, I know Sylvain Lefebvre, he's been at the helm now for, I think it's 4 years, and he hasn't seen a playoff game yet. And he knows that more than anyone. I don't foresee a coaching change coming this year, especially with the move to Laval next season. I think if the Canadiens feel that they need a coaching move, they'll wait and clean the slate next year with the move to Laval. And in fairness to Lefebvre, while there has not been any playoff hockey for any of the teams he has coached, he's been producing players for the Canadiens. Carr has been when he's been in the lineup. I know he never played the other night. I think it was the other night. But anyway, he's been playing pretty good. And Andrew Ghetto, he's been producing players for the Canadiens. With regards to coaching change, I don't know. It all depends. Come talk to me, I guess, in December or January.
Right.
We're certainly not going to go discussing coaching changes now 4 games in.
I don't think they're going to change him because I think they'll have him start in Laval. That's a pretty good record, right? 1 coach, 3 different cities for the AHL. I think that's that'll be a nice feather in his cap. Who
knows? I don't know what Montreal has in mind. But I know if the IceCaps falter this year, I don't think that you'd see them pull the plug on Lefebvre this season. Rather, I think starting next season in Laval, they'd probably go with a full slate.
He is Robin Short, the sports editor of the St. John's Telegram. You can follow him at Telly Robin Short on Twitter. Robin, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Matthew. It was my pleasure. And once again, sorry about last week, but I enjoyed it this morning. And anytime, I'll be available.
We're happy to have you. Thanks so much.